morning. It's Ginny and Tim at DS Tech.
Yes, I'm back.
Tim came back from wherever he was. It was super warm.
In Florida.
In Florida, that's right.
IT Nation Secure.
Yeah. We did go live that, during that week too. So if you missed that video, go back and look at it. But Tim's back with all of his key takeaways. So he can share with us what he learned, what DS Tech can take away from it, and what you can take away from it. So lots of good information. I read through his notes. So.
And some of this, if you watched that other episode, I probably talked on some of that as it was happening too. So now that the dust is settled a little bit, we can kind of go through it a little bit more streamlined and hopefully bring you some good information or nuggets and, things like that. So the first thing, what is IT Nation Secure? It's one of the top tier cybersecurity or IT conferences. They're not just technical discussions, but they're like urgent. They're about business relationships, business how they operate as well. It's not just all about techs getting together. It's about operational efficiency and all kinds of different things that we all come together to discuss. So it's not just about a bunch of, nerds in a closet trying to code and do stuff, but it's like a whole bunch of business leaders and people really coming together to really get the latest and greatest in security and how we can better protect not just our customers, our municipalities, our critical infrastructure, and each other. So obviously a big thing at the convention was AI and machine learning, because that's all the buzz still now with various things that are happening. So there's talking about machine learning is not just, for our research and development, it's actually being used in organizations now where they're giving it data once you do some data governance, and you can kind of get it locked down and use it to actually optimize some of your inefficiencies or busy work, allowing humans to basically have more creative thinking, because a lot of the busy stuff can be done are automated through AI.
I was reading an AI book, by the way, and one of the things that they mentioned is that AI can help you with decision fatigue.
Oh yeah.
So because how you get going and you just you get tired.
Alert here, over here.
Yeah.
Hey, what do we do here? What do we do with this? And if you give it pre-canned rules like, if this happens, maybe do auto responses for the various things, for various questions or common queries, right? So if you're an escalation tech, because I used to kind of have this role too, where it's like everyone's like, hey, how do I do this or how do I do that, right? And you just had kind of all this archaic knowledge from working, or you knew the documentation or whatever it was.
Or you've been here for 28 years.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, people just come to you for questions. You could have like the most common questions they have and create your own little Q&A bot, essentially, where you have your documentation reference. So if someone asks you a question that has a keyword in it that says whatever, it'll instantly give them the link to the information that is for that.
I should make an Ask Ginny one.
An Ask Ginny bot. Yeah, you can do that. Hey, Ginny, what does the Microsoft licensing mean for this? Because that's licensing questions you do all the time. So I
get the same questions all the time. That's actually a very good idea.
So you can create an auto chat bot to someone. Anyway, yes, there's ways it's helping people.
We should just do an episode on that someday.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, keep going.
Moving on from AI, there's a lot of other important stuff too. A big one was talking about compliance. So compliance is basically having a set of rules that you have to follow as a business in order to be secure. Typically, that's in industries like financial institutions, healthcare. Everyone knows of HIPAA. They hear of HIPAA. But there's other ones depending on the industry you're in. And a big one in the DoD space is called CMMC, Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. And that will be if you're a contractor working on DoD contracts that may have some not technically secret information, but controlled. Yeah, Department of Defense.
Thank you.
So you work on government contracts. They're starting to put in their contract clauses that you have to actually have a certain level of certification in order to work on the project, just to keep the intellectual property safe and kind of a minimum required. And it's a quite a big uplift for some contractors, especially if they need to get level 2. So that was a discussion or some good meetings about that. It's kind of like, think about how your cyber insurance is requiring you to you have to have MFA now, you have to have backups, and all this stuff used to be optional 5-10 years ago, but now you have to have it to have insurance. It's kind of the same thing with the compliance, only on a much more deeper scale if you're in a specific industry that requires you to be secure. They also were talking about how cyber insurance is changing again, demanding more proof for security, maturity, because a big thing may happen is if you write, yes, we have this implemented on your insurance form, they're not actually checking to make sure that it's done. Now, if an incident were to happen and you kind of fibbed on your form and you said we have MFA on everyone and our service accounts are IP restricted, and then all of a sudden they got in through some account that didn't have MFA, they're actually not going to pay you the insurance because you kind of lied on your form and it wasn't implemented properly, or there could be other ramifications to that. So to make sure that you actually are checking all the boxes properly is very important.
Do we do compliance like audits to help with that? Or?
We do. You can use our resources through New Charter. We're actually doing that now with a client where we can leverage like Cyber 74, some of our MSSPs and partners through New Charter to actually bring like nationwide grade security to the local level as well. So we do have partners that can do that. 3 years ago, probably it would probably be hard to do, but because of New Charter and the relationship we built and the access to all these techs and stuff, we can definitely do that for your business now if you need to get to that level.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you were curious about CMMC or you're in a business you might have it, you reach out. We can definitely help you start that process.
Yeah.
HIPAA is going to be having more enforcement, so that's just another compliance where they're actually going to up the requirements. So essentially anything that used to be, they called actionable before or optional, is now going to be mandatory. So if you're in the HIPAA space and you're used to those actionable items and you maybe didn't do it because it was too hard, now those are going to be mandatory, and there's a few other minor tweaks with that one too. A big talk is about incident response and business continuity planning, because the biggest thing is during a natural disaster, a cyber incident, whatever, do you know a plan in place on how your staff's going to operate? Does everyone know about this plan from the basic level employee all the way to the CEO? Do your CEOs have a printed copy of this plan? Because assuming all your computers and phones and everything goes out, you have no technology to leverage this documentation. You need it in a physical form. And then having a business continuity plan, and when do we trigger it, right? Do you trigger it at 8 hours of downtime, 24 hours of downtime? It depends on the business and things that like that. And then you have basically a backup plan. You know, if the phones go down, we do this. It's kind of a small scale version of that, but now you go to the point of like your complete servers are down. Then we can spin up like a backup in the cloud to get you working temporarily off laptop. There's things we can do and work through that plan with you. But to have that plan actually in place and to practice it once a year, go through a tabletop exercise where you say, hey, this is going to happen. How would you do this? And it just kind of gets the gears thinking about scenarios that maybe you didn't think of because they didn't happen yet. It's like practicing a fire drill. You hope it never happens, but in the event of a fire drill, you hope all the kids and everyone can run out the house because you practiced a few times. Same thing, you want all your staff trained. So if they come in and they see ransomware on the screen, they're not just taking pictures and posting it on Facebook, right? They understand the severity and the right channels to go through and how to handle an incident.
Disaster recovery plans.
Yes.
I know we do that.
We definitely do that. We do the tabletop exercises, all that kind of stuff.
2011.
Yeah. And then one of the big focuses that they were bringing at IT Nation Secure is the team collaboration. You know, all these MSPs across the nation, yes, we're all technically competitors. We're all competing for your business. However, at the end of the day, we're all doing the same goal, which is to secure everyone's computers and to keep everyone safe. Because at the end of the day, if you're securing municipalities or critical infrastructure, things like that, they actually say that MSPs will actually secure, it's like 68% of the nation's critical infrastructure. It's actually not protected by the government. It's private businesses that are doing a lot of that. So by coming together, sharing ideas, the best use cases, we're actually stronger together, because if you have an incident, you can share your pain with someone and how you dealt with it to hopefully prevent them from having to go through the same thing, or at least better prepared if they went through the same experience. So just
in my little world, I know I love having access to the Microsoft brains out there, because they know a lot more about the licensing than I do. So when I have questions, they're right there.
Having that brain trust is invaluable. And that's a huge part. Yeah, you have the convention, you have the speakers, you have all the events, but then you have the networking where you can actually just talk to owners. Where are you struggling? Where have you had an issue? Here's how we got through it. And just share ideas and help each other, knowing that, you know, at the end of the day, yes, you're still competitors, but we're stronger in this together. And there's no shame in, you know, sharing your failures with others to help educate them and help them be better. So.
Our accounting people all talk to each other. Our procurement people talk to each other. It's just, it's really cool.
So pretty much, I guess the key takeaway too is when you are working with an MSP like DS Tech, we go to these big events because we want to get the latest and greatest in the industry, and we're going to bring that level of service and technology down to the clients that we have servicing even in the UP up here. And so it's pretty cool to be able to take this talent that you get in the big cities like think of Silicon Valley and the big cities, and we can go there, get all that same knowledge and bring it back to Escanaba and our local area. So
very cool. Thank you so much, Tim. So if you have any questions or if you need any help implementing anything that you heard on this video, drop a comment. I'll send you a link, or just go to our website and get your free security assessment. So make it a great day. We'll see you next time.